How do I look?
You look weird. Still weird. Weirder!
Before Christmas and all through the borough, the children were snuggled, their presents wrapped thorough. But this tale's not about presents or Santa or ponies. It's about three dudes, three bros, three ride or die homies.
Hey guys, I'm Jaren,
I'm Aron.
and this is your review on
The Night Before.
14 years ago to this very night, I lost my parents. And you guys have been with me every single Christmas since then. You knew!
Jonathan Levine, director, reuniting with Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon from 50/50, making a unique, rehashed stoner Christmas movie. But it's got a better heart and tone than, say, like Harold and Kumar Christmas
Yeah, it
kind of thing.
kind of felt like Superbad and Harold and Kumar all kind of thrown together with all your favorite Christmas movies, and like you kind of see like a little throwback to some of your favorites, and like you get it, like the Home Alone jokes, the Die Hard jokes, the Grinch jokes.
This is the second best Seth Rogen movie I've seen so far, one being The Interview. Love him. I think that movie's perfect. A lot of people disagree, but I think that's, quality-wise, it's the best movie. But performance-wise, out of Seth Rogen, this is his best. Like, the dude was perfect. Like, it took a lot for him to be so energetic. The entire movie, pretty much. He was on a big drug high, and he just had to be, like, super hyper and ecstatic, and
Yeah, he was on a very big trip.
it took a lot to do that.
I thought it was gonna be annoying, but it was, like you said, it was perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty much his movie. He stole the show. Anthony Mackie had some pretty decent moments.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Okay, I know you said in your review that he was annoying, but
he
personally,
was borderline annoying.
I personally liked his character. I understand the struggle that he's been going through and why his character had to be, that way. This movie being labeled as like a big comedy and having his scenes very dramatic and very like heartfelt, I still enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a likable guy. Don't get me wrong. It's just the whole movie is crying about this girl that he left. Still, I don't want to see him take the whole movie and just like follow her around the city and try and stalk her, and then finally realize 3 months later, oh shit, I was a douche to her. I should make it up to her. But I just wish he had more funny stuff.
This is not like The Hangover, if this is what you're expecting.
But tonight, we have decided to end this tradition. Chris is just too famous to hang out with us anymore. And Isaac's about to have a baby.
You have been such a rock throughout this whole pregnancy. Now just focus on yourself.
Whoa, dreams? Is this cocaine? You haven't done cocaine for 11 years, I don't think.
Yeah, no one has, I don't think.
Holy.
There was a lot of times where I felt like the movie was kind of borderline mediocre Christmas movie. That whole final portion of the movie was fantastic. The way they kind of like arrived at the party, with all the cameos.
They didn't really need the whole end part.
Coming from Jonathan Levine, I'm still surprised that he can do stuff like comedy and still keep that emotional heart. Because, we followed him since, his debut with All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, which was a horror film. Then he jumped on something like Warm Bodies, and then that's like his whole entry to the comedy. So he did like 50/50, regrouped with Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and now you got The Night Before. And so I'm pretty satisfied with his work. I mean, especially if you go into this movie thinking that it's going to be a full-out, all-out comedy, this is kind of like not really your movie. It has that Christmas spirit, that whole all-out comedy you want, especially the dick jokes, the drug jokes, which were executed perfectly, by the way. It wasn't mediocre. And, you still get that, that tiny romance and a little heart and that whole bromance thing. It's a lot of things kind of thrown in together, and it's quite beautiful.
Well, one of the points is the cameos. Like, I don't want to spoil who's in it, but one of them is very reminiscent of Something About Mary. Cameron Diaz was like, oh, I'm dating this guy named Brett, and at the end of the movie, it turns out to be Brett Favre. That's what this felt like, and that made me laugh really hard. Not, for one, when you see the person, it'll make you laugh, and two, if you know Something About Mary,
I have a present for you. We're going to the best Christmas party in New York City. So that gives us several hours to hit as many traditions as possible. Oh! To the end of an era.
I think the cocaine and the mushrooms are reacting poorly.
You look insane. Only your right eye is working.
Do I look weird now?
Yes, you look weird. Still weird. Weirder.
Michael Shannon. I love Michael Shannon.
I didn't notice him at first.
Yeah.
Like, it took me like a few glances to check out. I was like,
It's so funny. Mindy Kaling, she had a pretty small bits, but in her bits she was funny.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, it's Mindy Kaling. She's hilarious. Miley Cyrus. That one got spoiled because I was in the trailer, so that's why I said her name. I like her cameo. She actually did pretty well.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool cameo.
And I like the little throwback to, oh, call me.
Oh, Call Me Hannah. Yeah. You guys who watch Hannah Montana, you'll know that joke.
Surprisingly, Seth Rogen did not write this movie with his partner Evan Goldberg. They usually, everything they do, they write. All the movies they do, they write together. You know, Superbad, not Knocked Up, that was Judd Apatow. This Is the End. You know, they interview, all that kind of stuff. So I was surprised that Seth Rogen wasn't a writer on it. It was Evan Goldberg, his writing partner, and Jonathan Levine. But he didn't bring on Seth Rogen as a writer like he always does. After I first saw it, I was like, this is unusual because a lot of the jokes feel like it's a Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg writing project. And then I found out that the only parts of the script they stuck to was the dramatic parts. Everything else was ad-libbed on set.
Oh, and improvised.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I can see why it's so much of a Seth Rogen jokes and dirty humor at times.
a lot of the humor really just kind of like revolves around Seth Rogen. So considering that was an ad-lib and improvised, I mean, that just makes it kind of
so that really makes me go back and kind of forgive, I guess, Joseph Gordon for not having funny parts. He's not a really improv kind of guy and come up with stuff like how Seth Rogen can.
Well, especially if you're like the main character and you have like a certain path to follow with that character. It's like you can't go off and be funny. Seth Rogen goes on a really big trip and you can improvise the hell out of that, especially with a lot of comedies. When you have like certain behavior revolving around a character like that, you can go any way you want off script. So, you know, that's Rogen for you.
So when the Blu-ray comes out, I definitely want to see the deleted or gag reel or, you know,
I'm
jokes that they never used, because I'm sure there's a lot. Now, funniest moment for me was the dinner scene. I don't really want to spoil it, but the dinner scene with the dick pics. Like, I cannot stop laughing at that scene. Like, and I give props to Seth Rogen. Like, he's sitting there and he's getting his text messages, dick pics, and the things that he says, he's having inner thoughts like, oh my god, this guy wants me to suck his thing. And he's like thinking in his head and he's like typing and he's like, what should I say? And he's like, every little line in that whole bit was like perfect. Like, the writing was just spot on. It didn't push it. You know, it didn't
overdo itself.
It didn't overdo itself.
So it wasn't just his performance, but also his reactions.
Well, this one time in summer camp, he's like, and then he's
it's
like,
something you gotta read though. It's never like said aloud. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you just gotta
pay attention to this one.
When that scene comes along, just pay attention because it's super funny. And then the way he's like, this is such a nice guy. He's so charming. That for me is like the biggest laugh of the whole movie.
You guys missed her singing Miley Cyrus. She destroyed Wrecking Ball.
You still like that song?
Everybody does.
You can cry to it. You can run to it.
Yeah.
You can party to it.
Timeless!
My favorite emotional scene is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's first Christmas without his parents and his friends coming over. That one key scene, especially with his friends being around him and starting this whole tradition that they've followed throughout the years, was pretty touching.
But I like the homages. There's like the Home Alone thing where Anthony Mackie fell. That's in the trailer, so.
Did you get that other Home Alone reference with Seth Rogen?
I never seen you fanboy over something so much.
It's only
You were
because
just like,
it was like
you're
if you
just
know
like,
your
yes.
if you know your Christmas movies and you get the tiny little jokes in this one, you will laugh hard. I
Oh my
guarantee
gosh.
you.
His reaction was so funny. He's like, yes.
Yes.
He was like a little boy on Christmas morning getting
Me?
his favorite toy.
Me?
Yeah. You should have seen your reaction. It was
Oh,
hilarious.
especially that hipster chick. She was like, "This is how my boy Hans went down."
Yeah. See, I like that part, and they even played the song from Die Hard.
Yeah.
But
You
I
get
wish
those.
they made her fall like how Hans did though.
Yeah.
That would have been even more funny. She was
Oh,
just like,
super slow motion.
Yeah.
And also the Sticky Bandit that she did, Home Alone 2.
So technically, it was like 3 Home Alone references. But you get a movie that rebounds the Christmas movies, and you get something that's funny. It's not completely fresh. We've seen it a lot of times. But
I'm gonna be honest. I'm freaking out about having the baby. I'm supposed to be a rock, but I'm not a rock.
on my review, I rated a B+.
B plus.
But the thing is, I didn't find out about the whole improv thing until after I wrote my review, which I really regret. I should have changed my thing, but because of that, I graded a B+ because of the whole Joseph Gordon-Levitt thing. I didn't think he was funny enough, and it was too, the girl, and I didn't know about the improv and only sticking to dramatic parts. So I would have to up my grade from my review, my personal review, from a B+ to an A-.
A- for me. I also would have gave it a B+, but that's only because that entire party sequence was one of my favorite concluding portions of the story.
That was
A-.
another part you really got a kick out of, was that party scene.
Yeah, that entire
with
party was...
with Joseph Gordon and Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I
don't know.
know.
You were just like, yeah.
I don't know, it was just so...
This is so cool.
It was just so... It was very vibrant. I don't know, there's something about that scene that was so vibrant, you know? It wasn't just about, being drugs and partying and all that kind of thing. It was just... I don't know. It kind of unleashed an inner nerd from me on my end.
How wasted are you right now?
Hallelujah!
Not that kind of church.
No. Who's that guy?
What guy?
The Santa Claus.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Is that what they think we did to him?
Yeah.
Can they tell I'm Jewish?
Yes. Your sweater.
Oh, it's something you can see with your friends, see with your family.
Well,
Oh. Well,
kinda.
if your family's in those dirty things, you saw it with your dad.
let them walk. Yeah, but my dad's like not typical dads. He likes those kind of movies.
And some people may think so too.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, I'm Jaren,
Aaron,
and this was your review on
the night before.
Don't you dare throw up in here. Swallow it like a girl would.
I need a barf bag.
No bark bag. Is it still happening? It's still happening a little.
We did not kill Jesus! We did not do that!
Love the Coopers. You suck.